My name is Emma Beamish. I'm currently a teacher in Ireland, teaching English, but I've not always been a teacher. Beforehand, I've been a journalist. I used to work for corporations. I've done administrations, but I've also been living with epilepsy since I was 14. But that was only part of my story. Otherwise, I love sport. I've been playing hockey and cricket and was very fortunate to go on and play cricket for my country for 10 years. So I had my first seizure when I was 14 in boarding school, and it was very scary. Neither I nor my family understood what was happening. I had to go to the doctors, I had to have lots of tests, MRIs, EEGs, blood tests, and they all came back normal. Yet I was being told I had epilepsy. So it's a very difficult thing for a teenager to understand, well, even an adult, to understand that you have a condition, there's no evidence of it, but you continue to have seizures. And then I think being a teenager, you get very frustrated having to take medication. So I didn't want to take my medication. And when I did that, I would have a seizure. And I learned that lesson the hard way a couple of times. But ultimately, I was playing a lot of sport during my teenage years. And that really, really helped me because it helped me stay focused. I was also focusing on something really fun. But in the background, there was still my epilepsy, and it's still worrying. I think it was probably more worrying for my parents than for me, because I kept living my life. My parents were minding me, and I was busy with school, with friends, with sport. But ultimately, it's a pretty tough condition to get when you have no answers for it. I've been playing sports since I was 9. It's pretty difficult to pick out one moment. However, one of the best moments in my sports career was qualifying for the World Cup. We were playing where were we? We were in Holland, and we were playing against the West Indies, and we beat them, and it meant that we were going to the World Cup in South Africa the next year. It was incredible. I'd never won anything on such a big stage, and even better, you were winning with all your teammates. The after party was epic. But as was knowing that all your hard work meant you were off to a World Cup to represent your country on the biggest stage. I'm very grateful for my sports career because alongside that, I was still living with my epilepsy, and the rules for sport and doing well in sport, probably for life, are the same. Really, really important to have a great team around you. With epilepsy, for your team support is essential. Everything from your doctors, psychologists, acupuncture, friends, whatever makes you happy. And then in team sport, again, it's about surrounding yourself with the right team to make sure you can perform at the right level. Also in sport, you get knockbacks. You either don't get picked or you pick up an injury, and it's all about then setting yourself up for success. Alongside with your epilepsy, when you have a seizure, it's like you're physically knocked down again. And again, it's about getting yourself back up and the confidence. The two go in hand. It's about not accepting, not staying down, but getting back up and knowing that you're going to survive and that you're going to really thrive in your life. I suppose as well, sport and epilepsy, it's all about perseverance, and it's all about just not giving up. I think I was very dedicated in my sports career. I would put the hours in, and the same was needed dealing with my epilepsy. I think epilepsy is tough, and it's not for the faint-hearted, and it's easy to give up when you're not feeling great or you're not doing well, but that's the same in sport. It's hard to keep going, to pick yourself up time and time again, and to really want it. And I think that perseverance and that resilience really helped both in my sport and within my epilepsy. And really because I think it's all about wanting your best life, whatever that looks like to you, and you can't give up at the first hurdle or the first challenge or the first difficult thing that comes along. The same within sport. It's really important to raise awareness about epilepsy for people with epilepsy, because I want them to know, and I want everyone to know, that it doesn't hold you back from anything. Yes, it does make your life a bit harder at times, and there are more challenges and more obstacles to overcome, but that's all they are, challenges and obstacles to overcome, and that really you can achieve anything you want to achieve. The other reason why it's really important to raise awareness is for employers as well, for the workplace. Personally, I've dealt with discrimination in the workplace where people thought I couldn't do my job because I had epilepsy. But that was only in 1 or 2 places. Ironically, in other places which were far bigger and there was more at stake, they would have no problem dealing with me even after a seizure. They just were very supportive and said, "Emma, how can we help you? Or what do you need?" And those open conversations mean, again, you get rid of challenges or obstacles. There is no obstacle for anyone living with epilepsy not to live a full life. Motivation is hard to come by sometimes, but ultimately, I love life. I'm so curious. I love learning, and I want to keep getting better. I think that's the ambition in me, and it's my ambitious drive. And I think the motivation comes from just not giving up and just keeping one foot going in front of the other the whole time. I think there's so much of life to be lived, and it's so exciting and it's so interesting, and there's so many different things to do that you just keep moving forward. And I think motivation comes from the people around you as well. And I think I've met incredible people in my life, and they keep pushing me to be a better person. But more than that, I just want to live my best life. And that's not going to happen without me putting it in.